look, that... Or is this it? No. No, it's not. Okay. Got it. He got it. All right. This model is looking good. Trying to... Need to make sure my thing doesn't say anything. There it is.
Hello.
Hi.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, just making sure because the audio equipment is always a little bit screwy on this side.
Yeah. Let me make sure that the stream has it correct.
Alrighty.
It should be, yeah.
Okay.
All right, everyone. So this is the Orphan on YouTube. What's your real name? I don't have that.
It's Albert.
Albert. All
Albert.
right.
Albert from the Orpheon, as I usually say in some of my videos.
Oh,
It's the
I
tiny name
completely
that's on
forgot that.
in the bottom part of the credits that no one reads, and I've been trying to put my name more into the script so people actually know who am I or what my name is.
Yeah.
But I've clearly failed on it.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of your videos. I haven't seen the one you uploaded today.
No, it's fine. It's fine. No
Yeah.
worries. You'll get you'll get a chance after you're done with your 24-hour stream thing.
Yeah. So far, it's kind of been an on and off thing because there's been some issues with the GameCube. It
Oh
wouldn't.
boy.
The GameCube and my capture card did not want to get along too well.
Oh wow. What capture card are you using?
It's just some cheap AV capture card. I don't even
Gotcha.
know.
Gotcha.
But I had
Gotcha.
to resolder a chip to it because it kept crashing my entire system.
Oh wow. Because I usually use one of those. Might sound a bit generic, but I just use the Elgato ones that they sell online.
Yeah, I have a
Which is
Elgato HDMI card that I was using.
yeah.
That I
They,
ended up
they've.
just playing the trilogy version of Prime.
Uh, I'd still, even though I prefer the GameCube controllers, I think the trilogy version is probably the best way to experience the games.
hmm It
But
really like it was strange switching from the Wii controls to the GameCube controls at first,
oh yeah,
and
totally.
after going so long using like the Switch Pro controller and the Joy Cons, it feels very strange going
It feels
from
even more different.
yeah. It just the GameCube controller seems very strange.
The GameCube controller is just like the game was just meant to be played on a GameCube controller.
Yeah, but
It
it does
is
translate very nicely to the Wii.
yeah, it does, especially with all the because I feel they did a good job on corruption. It was just simply readapting the controllers, but at the same time, it didn't quite break the game or break the experience. I feel like it kind of enhances it a little bit because there are a couple things that I feel like I do in the trilogy quicker than the GameCube simply because I can free aim.
Yeah,
Looking at you,
I
Fly.
love the free aim in that. That's made so many things easier, especially the what are they called? The blast caps in the first Prime game. They are a nightmare to take out with the GameCube
Oh
controller.
yeah, the especially when you're trying to get the weight buster.
hmm
You're trying to climb. I believe it's called the Sun Chamber, and
Yeah,
I
where
oh
all those floating spheres.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's about
It's
where I got in the first Prime game on
and
the
then you said,
stream.
and that's so you said, okay, I quit.
Um, no, that's not really where.
The capture card is quitting
Um,
on you.
the plant monster. That's
Oh,
I had just defeated that, and then I had decided to go get something to eat, and then I came back and started playing Prime 3 because that's the only Metroid game I haven't beaten yet.
oh, so you pretty much got to Flagra, then you switched to corruption.
Yep.
Gotcha. So where are you at in corruption since it's the first time you're playing it?
I have I've gotten what was his name? Rundus? Is that how you say it?
Rundus.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Rundus. I had
Rundus.
just defeated him,
At least I
and
believe it's pronounced Rundus. That's how everybody says it in the game.
yeah,
It's the funny thing because like even when I'm making videos like in Hunters, there's the Alembic cluster.
yeah.
Um, but I've been calling it Alembic throughout my entire life. So sometimes when I'm recording the script and I say Alembic, I'm like, ah, crap, it's Alembic.
Me and my friends, we just didn't care, and we would always call it the Olympic.
Olympic cluster.
Yeah.
My friends and I will usually call it the Olympic clusterfuck sometimes, just simply because of all the things that happen in there with the so-called ultimate power and stuff.
Hmm.
So it's quite hilarious that throughout all the years people have been calling specifically Olympic cluster something different.
It's really sometimes it's really surreal when you hear something you pronounced one way like your entire life
And
pronounced
then
a
somebody
different way.
pronounces it the other way.
Yeah, it's like I've been saying it wrong this whole time. It's like really embarrassing at some points too.
Yeah, it's especially embarrassing in my case when I'm like doing the videos and then some people like correct me in the way you pronounce things online. So
Yeah.
like I try to make my videos as quote unquote perfect as I can in terms of the facts and the details, but you always miss something. I'm
Hmm.
happy that people are kind enough to let me know and not necessarily just throw me under the bus because I was wrong. But it's sometimes a bit frustrating when you put like so many hours to just make sure you're saying this right, and then somebody else is like, actually, no, you're still wrong.
That is how it is sometimes. It just seems like you do everything you can to try and see if you're pronouncing something right, and then you end up getting it wrong anyways.
Yeah, it gets really really infuriating. So like when I remember when I was doing the Metroid Prime 3 Hunters videos and I kind of wanted to add the name of their planets because they're just very mundane. It's very generic sci-fi. Here's a wacky name and we put a number at the end of it. Uh so I went over to Google Translate and I just put each one of the names because I was just like, okay, this is insane. How do you pronounce some of this stuff?
Hmm.
So that way, if anybody is complaining, I could just blame it on Google Translate.
Yeah. So, Metroid Prime 4 was announced this year at E3,
Oh my
and I
gosh,
have no idea what that game could be about.
This- well,
Because
well,
the Prime series seemed to focus on Phazon, and that, from
yeah,
what I hear, is pretty much wiped out at the end of Corruption.
yeah. So essentially, I guess this is kind of correlating with a video I just uploaded, which is supposed to be a quote unquote leaked story of Mount Metroid Prime 4, but in reality, it's just a clickbait joke video, making fun of like how everybody's speculating about the game. And I've been receiving a lot of comments lately, like what are my thoughts of Prime 4? And I'm not really much of a fan of speculating without having much information. Um, but from what I can guess, according to Tanabe, in an interview with IGN a couple of years ago, he said the Face On and Dark Samus stories are officially over after Corruption. I feel that it's kind of set in stone thanks to Federation Force,
Hmm.
because that game is a direct sequel of sorts to Corruption, in which the Federation are trying to wipe out the pirate forces that are still remaining. Um, and so, if anything that we can take from that game as being connecting to Prime 4, and I'll just do this as a minor spoiler warning for anybody who actually cares about the plot, if you can call it Federation Force.
Yeah, and
Um,
actually, that's one game I never played, but I don't know if I'm gonna pick that one up. So go
I
ahead.
mean, if spoiling the story of Federation Force isn't as big of a deal like spoiling Corruption, if you ask me, because the story's pretty bare bones. Space pirates decide another super weapon, go stop it. Samus shows up every now and then. Uh, so it's mostly something like, in this case, we there's a mission in which you essentially go and the Galactic Federation turns out to be doing something under the table. No surprise there. Sketchy business. They're cloning Metroids. Not
Hmm.
surprised there. Kind of like a fusion, a not to fusion. And it's probably one of the best missions in the entire game because it takes a different turn from the shoot bang to more of a creepy, more Metroidy aspect, or
Yeah.
the Metroid cut loose. So essentially, one of the side missions that you can do in the game, and this is completely optional, is that you can carry some of the Metroid eggs back into the ship. And if you do so after the credits, when you finish the game, there's a small cutscene of a specific blue-looking dude supposedly infiltrating the Federation base and stealing a Metroid. So I guess the only thing we can
Um,
say is that Silex
yeah,
probably
I was
stole the
gonna say
Metroids.
Silex.
Yeah, and the only reason I want to say Silex is not only because he's blue, it's because the gunship at the end of Corruption has been confirmed to be the Delano 7 from Silex's ship and Hunters.
Yep.
And Tanabe himself has shown interest in continuing sort of a story. Um, so I guess the bigger focus in this time will be Silex trying to have another like Metroid insurrection to take down the Federation.
That sounds
Um,
like that could actually really work. Having Samus hopping from planet to planet like she did in Hunters and Prime
and
3.
Hunters, yeah,
Um,
because
that
we don't
just, it
know.
really sounds like it could work.
Yeah, we don't know anything about Silex, and that's kind of the beauty about it. The only real thing that's in there for the scan and the website from Hunters is that he has in the instruction manuals is that he has a huge hatred towards the Federation.
Hmm.
So and by Samus and by extension Samus for helping them. So it's really the only thing that we can kind of confirm that Silex and all these other speculations. However, whether Silex is not is teaming, whether Silex is teaming up with the pirates or not, whether he's going to use it as a coup d'état to sort of put Samus in a bad light for the Federation, or all these other theories I've read online, it's still to be seen. I'm not saying that any of them are impossible, but I really want to wait until there's a little bit more information, maybe a proper trailer of sorts, before I start jumping in with what I feel is going to happen besides Silex uses Metroids to take over the universe.
Yeah.
Um, so essentially, that sort of correlates to the video where that we uploaded today, which is Krokomeyer going over his quote unquote leaked information about Metroid Prime 4 story, as
Mm.
sort of a joke video to celebrate the channel's 1 year anniversary.
Which, oddly enough, lands on the Metroid anniversary. Was that
Yeah,
intentional?
it was all on purpose
Okay.
because last year was the 30th anniversary.
Yep.
Uh, and I already had the videos pre-baked. This is before sort of I started the channel by itself. I had the first 5 videos kind of pre-baked.
Mm.
And it was the 3 first Smash Brothers video and the chosen convenience. So you can kind of notice how things have progressed and or changed with the assets that have been made and the editing and the style, because I was still figuring out what I want to do, what styles do I want to go with. So essentially, I saw, oh, it's the 30th anniversary. What better chance to make the channel quote unquote live officially than on Metroid's anniversary?
Yeah.
So
And
so it was all an evil plan.
when I was playing through Metroid Prime Hunters, I saw everyone online saying like Silex is so annoying that he always appears, how like you could encounter the other hunters randomly.
Yeah,
Um I only saw him when it was scripted. I
really.
never saw him otherwise.
Oh wow. That, like I can't say that I probably fought all of them on my second visits. Like at least I fought
Yeah.
each one of them twice or 3 times during my first
Ooh.
playthrough years ago. And I remember I distinctively always hated Silex because of the shock coil and how annoying it was to just essentially try to avoid his damage. So you would constantly get damage from a guy who's just simply jumping around. Um, for all Overwatch players who are complaining about Symmetra's weapons, they don't know anything because imagine if Symmetra's weapons also healed her at the same time.
Yeah.
Uh, so that was the whole reason why I kind of played Silex online for the most time, is just to annoy other people with the shock coil. And then because everybody online was playing either Trace because he goes invisible with the Imperialist, or Spire